What's going on, y'all? I want to welcome you back to the Raw Report. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about character. We're going to talk about some of y'all that's walking around basically thinking you the calm one, the quiet one, the one who don't never start no drama. And basically, you're, for lack of a better way of saying it, you're basically a coward with good manners. You're not peaceful. You're just passive aggressive. And today we go talk about it because we finna put it out there. That's not a personality trait. That's a character flaw. Hiding behind a mask like you being polite. And if we really don't address it now, it's really going to end up costing you a lot of things. Your relationship, your family, like your friends. Passive aggressive is not cool, number one. It ain't you being nice. It's you want the outcome of honesty without the exposure that your honesty requires from you. You want to send a message, basically. You want to punish somebody, but you want to protect your image. And you basically want to avoid being questioned all at the same time. That's not peace. That's really you concealing your resentment toward that person. You know it bothered you. You know what needs to be said. You just not saying it. You know exactly what started the tension. But instead of you saying what needs to be said, you basically basically you let that frustration just carry on for way longer than it have to, because you start talking to the person differently. You start delaying your sarcasm. You be giving them silent treatment. And then you be doing stuff that's just out of pocket. And you know it's out of pocket. But you try to do it with a smile on your face, like you don't think people will break you up from that. They just waiting on you to step across that line. But you know what you're doing. And they know what you're doing. I'm calling it out today. It's bogus at the end of the day. You just being bogus. There's no other way around it. But then you got the nerve to say that's just how you are. I don't know. If you being a manipulative person is how you are, I mean, we calling it to the carpet today, bro. People already know what it is. I'm just doing this episode so you can know that we see you. Because that behavior that you think that you still is looking innocent, you're not. Them days over, man. We ain't letting it slide no more. We own it. We own it. You gonna be passive aggressive, we gonna start meeting the passive aggressive with aggression. Cause basically you thinking it's cool to keep wounding people or keep hurting people and still denying it like you ain't did nothing, like you the person that's always squeaky clean. You create all this confusion, but then want to act like you offended when somebody questions you. But when it's time to address something, that ain't got nothing to do with you. It ain't your fault. Ain't nothing never your fault. Nothing? Like, really? Ain't nothing your fault? I can understand if, every now and again, like, you could at least own up to something, but you don't never own up to nothing. Man, we gotta get that. We gotta let that stuff go, cause y'all tripping. Like I'm telling y'all now, I can't keep doing the passive aggressive with you. So I'd rather you just stay away from me if that's what we're gonna do. If that's what we're doing, cause we too old for this not saying what needs to be said. Or not even having some type of communication strategy where you can at least say what's on your mind or how somebody made you feel. But you trying to manipulate the room every single time, it's not even, it don't even look genuine no more. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Because at the root of it, it's like, and it might not even be fear, but the conflict, it might not even be a conflict that go to the next level, but it's corrupting your spirit some kind of way. Because when you're not dealing with the honest, whatever you're really feeling, whatever resentment you have against that person, you basically weaponizing the atmosphere. And the person or the people you're doing it to, they feel something's off, but you smiling and joking and acting like everything cool, but it's just not genuine no more. That's all I'm saying. The room start to get heavy. The communication is like nobody understand what nobody's saying. It ain't that nobody understand. You just don't want to understand what everybody's saying because it ain't the way that you want it to go. And I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm tired of it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired. I'm tired of all this passive aggressive that keep going around, acting like everything cool. If everything cool, let it be cool. But if it ain't, move around. Look, if I ain't your cup of tea, I ain't your cup of tea. I'm cool with that. But don't be playing that game like we cool and we not. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. Stop acting like we solid and we ain't. Because honestly, if you ask me, it's making it worse. Because you're basically, anything we could be doing together, building, growing, making things happen, you basically stopping the foundation from being built. And like I said, it's like you're communicating through your energy, through the atmosphere, instead of speaking your truth. It's like something's off and everybody can feel it, but you ain't gonna say it. Every time you walk in, the room shifts, and not in a good way. It's not necessarily in a bad way, it's just, or if you walk in, you see somebody, whatever it is, you try to put on a good front, but it ain't even there. It's not there no more, so you might well get real with yourself. You basically force yourself to be somebody that you don't even want to be. I don't know how you can live with yourself like that all the time, because I can imagine just when you go home and you start, I ain't gonna even say that, when you just get all that off your chest, because you might not even get it off at home. You might just keep it all to yourself, knowing that you feel certain type of ways about certain people. That's crazy to me. And you start to use your delaying of saying what you need to say as a weapon. You don't say no, but you don't say yes neither. You don't go when it's time to go. You're always an hour too late, or anything to throw the rhythm off of what could have been a good thing, instead of just saying, no, I'm cool, I ain't doing that. And basically what you're refusing to confront, you're basically killing it slowly, and you're doing it on purpose, but you're not telling the people that you're supposed to be rocking with. That's crazy, because you're hiding your true feelings in vagueness. Because, like I said, the conversation can be very clear. Everybody understands, but you don't understand. You always like muddying up the conversation because you don't want nobody to get clarity, because it ain't the way that you think it should go. And then I guess I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's peace to you. But that's not peace. That's dysfunction. Just being honest with you. That's not peace. You basically building dysfunction. And at some point, it's gonna come to hatch at some point. Everybody's the problem, but it ain't you. And at some point that becomes dangerous. It becomes dangerous because no matter which way you turn, you're the victim at all the time. That's basically what I'm saying. You're always the victim. Now you got people apologizing about something that they didn't do just to make you feel whole, I guess. I don't know what you're doing. But you need to stop it. Because like I said, that passive aggressive is crazy. You got people feeling like they've wronged you, and really you wronged them. Out here talking about them to other people, got other people looking at them bad, and all because we used to call it dry snitching. You out here dry snitching, and it ain't even real, but you making up stuff, dry snitching, because you throwing rocks behind your hands, whispering this about that person in their ear, whispering that, and got other people looking at this person funny, and really it's you, with all that passive aggressive goofiness. Got them picking sides for no reason. And I'm tired of it. That's why I'm speaking on it. I'm tired of it. Y'all gonna have to stop all that. Cause like I said, y'all already know I'm gonna tell y'all when I come on here, I'm not just talking, I bring scriptures with me. Cause this pattern is, God exposed that years ago. Proverbs 10:18. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. Basically, he's saying hidden hostility is still hostility. Polite words don't clean up the dirty heart. What's in your heart is in your heart. You can't change that. Psalms 28:3. Which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. Saying the right words while still carrying harmful intent, God calls that iniquity. Not shyness, not introversion, iniquity. Matthew 5:37. But let your communication be yeah, yeah, nay, nay. That's let your yes be yes and your no be no. For whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Basically what Jesus was saying is, when your speech, when you stop talking clean and direct to people, darkness starts to enter the exchange. And like I said, that's your vagueness, because your manipulation coming into play. That's basically how I'll say that. Ephesians 4:25. Putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor. Basically, God's standard is plain truth between us, between people. That's what we're supposed to do. Not hinting, not basically a different tone. Not you should know what you did. No, just tell the truth. I don't know what I did. Tell me what I did. James 3:14. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth. Bitterness inside you eventually distorts how you communicate. That's just a fact. You start living divided. Your mouth is in one place and your heart is in another. And eventually they grow further and further away from each other, to the point where, maybe not around everybody, but when that person come in, all of a sudden, your mouth and your heart is in two different places. And it starts to cost you something, because it basically trains you away from the courage that should be inside of you. Every time you start hinting at stuff, the sarcasm, the mood, and you start withdrawing the truth out of everything instead of just being direct and truthful, you're building up that lying muscle, that wrong muscle. It's not a good muscle, so it gotta be wrong. Over time, you become structurally unfit for hard conversations. You don't just avoid them. You start literally just not having them. You don't even want to have them no more. And then people start to not believe you no more. They don't trust the words that's coming out of your mouth. They learn that when you say I'm fine, that means, oh, he mad. Let him go on about his business. Or you silent, so you thinking you punishing that person. You just really isolating yourself. And then if you just cooperate, now all of a sudden everybody know that you really don't want to be there. So why are you there? Like I said, once your words don't mean nothing no more, why be there? I know you can find something better to do, because when your wife stop believing in you, your homies stop believing in you, your people, like, your word don't mean nothing no more. That passive aggressiveness that you've been doing, it's like it's hurting you. You think it's hurting everybody else, it's hurting you. And then you can't build with the people that you steady hanging around. You got to get over that, man. I promise y'all. This passive aggression is killing a lot of y'all from the inside. Because you got to live with that thing, even though you know you didn't like what was said or how it happens. It starts to reshape your identity. Over time, you start seeing yourself as you just misunderstood, or you always overlooked. And you feel, like I said, you're the victim. You're always constantly wrong. And you can't see that the problem is that you're not standing up for yourself. Because how do I know I hurt you if you haven't told me? So instead of being clear, you just start being vague and cryptic with your message. Instead of just saying what needed to be said, I could have probably didn't even mean it that way, but you took it that way. And then over the years, you kept basically, and I'm keep saying me, but I'm just saying anybody. Over the years, you letting it stack up, and we could have solved that from the jump. And what I want a lot of y'all to know is, even if I'm not talking about you in particular, you might know somebody that's, you might be the one on the receiving end of it. Because this spirit that I'm talking about right now, it thrives in environments where confrontation is penalized. The church, family, the workplace. Anywhere where calling somebody out is seen as offense. And it's exactly where that spirit operates the most. But you still gotta call it for what it is. You gotta stand on that thing. You can't let people just passive aggressive you until you can't even stand being at the job and working with people. Nah, just call them on the carpet. Because you feel it, you just ain't saying that. So now the trust is eroded. Nobody trusts each other. Because, like I said, because of passive aggression. The thing is, with the person who's giving being passive aggressive, and the person who receives it, all you got to do is pay attention to what's not being said, and then pay even more closer attention to how you feel after you was around that person, because it'll tell you that, oh, okay, it's something more here. You don't know what, but it's something more. Now you can start moving accordingly, because healthy people communicate. They go say what they gotta say and they move on about their business. Anybody got time to be carrying this stuff on 2, 3, 4 hours? I'm on a whole nother session, whole nother conversation talking to somebody else. Think I'm still thinking about you? I'm not doing that. But like I said, when it's unhealthy, those patterns like to hide, and they end up staying with you way longer than they have to. And that's why I can tell you, before you start trying to point the finger at somebody else from what I'm saying, look in the mirror first. Because that's one of the worst things you can do, is be passive aggressive and not knowing that you're being passive aggressive. It's one of the worst things you can do. So what I want y'all to do is, for the next 7 days, Kill that I'm fine routine. Let's just stop that one. If something bothering you, let's say it. Speak it out. Tell them off top, nah, I can't do that. Nah, you made me feel some kind of way. Nah, bruh, we ain't doing that here. Them days over. Own your part in whatever it is. And then, the next thing, audit your last 10 messages. Any sarcasms, any jabs, any vague complaints, or even loaded comments. Keep those receipts, but then go back and check them and be like, and see, I'm not saying check the person. I'm saying check them, meaning go correct that thing and have an honest conversation with yourself first, then with whoever you was giving those sarcastic jabs to. Or even if you thought you received a sarcastic jab, say something to them. When you feel the urge to withdraw, delay, or even go silent, stop and ask yourself, what is this person trying to say? And am I too scared to confront them? Why? And then figure out why. Once you figure out the why, then go to them and say it. Say what you need to say. Not mean, not being disrespectful. You just trying to say your truth. Whatever that is. And then, I'll say this, the first time you start speaking direct to people, after years of not doing it, it's gonna feel like you're being harsh. You're gonna feel like you're being mean. But you're not being mean, especially if you're not coming in that tone. You're just being honest with your truth. But you gotta push through it. Because that truth, it feels sharp at first, but that's the only way you're gonna free yourself from that whole passive aggression thing, whatever that is. Because I'm just being honest with y'all, that ain't cool. In 2026, that's not cool. Say it with your chest. And I'm hoping y'all hear me, because if you've been calling yourself the peaceful one, the calm one, the one who ain't never started nothing, but at the end of the day, the people that's closest to you, they always see something different. They know something, you move a little different. You ain't never really happy around people. You're always secluded with you and your own little circle, whatever you're doing. I mean, it might be time to check that. Because they see a man that rather manipulate a room than to have an honest conversation. Just to be there and really be present. Because if they can't manipulate the room, they gotta go. They basically see you decided that your image matters more than your integrity. And like I started this off, they basically see a coward who basically learned how to smile, no matter how he's feeling. And that's not peace. That's a coward wearing a nice shirt. And you built your manhood in conversations, or the conversations that you were scared to have. Every time you ducked those conversations, you thought you was protecting your peace. But what you did was taught yourself how to manipulate rooms for you to think you're getting your way. And all you did was, over the years, especially now, your character it's flaky. But you can still clean it up, but you gotta own that thing. You gotta own that thing, because like I said, it's just passive aggression. That just means that you ain't saying what needs to be said. So all I'm saying is mean what you say. Let your yes be yes, your no be no, because at the end of the day, that's what us men do. Everything else is just hiding with good vocabulary. So don't be nice, be honest. That's my word for y'all today. Y'all already know. Come join the free community. We can expand on this conversation. We can talk. We can do whatever y'all need to do. Y'all already know what I like to say. Stay real. Stay raw. Stay grounded in your faith. And walk boldly in your purpose. Till the next time, y'all. I'm out.